Hello. We're here. We're doing it. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. It is less warm today than it was yesterday, so I'm glad we're streaming today. Quacko, hello. Daz, hello. Quacko, sorry, not you. Sit back down. Daz, the makefile syntax error, is that my mistake or your mistake? Connor, hello. Bonjour. Ah, okay, because we were doing makefiles like last Sunday, and we were doing -j, although that's for Ninja, which is why I thought there might have been crossed wires. That's fine, as long as it's your mistake. Ah, I see. That's what you get for being first. You get picked on. Doroxy, hello. Oh. I'm hesitant to make promises, but I'm not planning on doing any font rendering today. James, hello. Glad you enjoyed the videos. Welcome. I am okay, thank you. I am all the better for being here with you lovely people to do some C++ things. Give a few minutes for people to roll in, and then we will see what the order of the day is. Exciting. Yes, the fridge is locked, ready to go. Axarus MT, it's a mouthful. Hello. Life's pretty good. Again, I'm here streaming with you guys. Could be worse. So live project help isn't really the thrust of these streams because I have my own project that needs help. However, if you do come along to the Discord, there is a variety of channels dedicated to helping people, or helping people help themselves. But I probably won't be able to. I can attempt to answer the odd ad hoc C++ question live, but I will not be probably looking at anyone else's code because, like I said, I made a big enough mess of my own code. Simon, you're welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Exciting news. Probably new video after the stream. Like, it's ready. It's in the chamber. It's ready to go. I don't hate the thumbnail, so maybe new video like after the stream. We'll see. See how tired I am. See how it goes. I have no opinion on Zig because I've not used it. However, Connor is here, who is our resident Zig expert, so I'm sure you can talk to him about it. Yeah, again, like, this is not an offer for like one-on-one help. I'm more than happy for people to message me or email me, and I will do my best to help, but I can't like dedicate loads and loads of time. But there is a Discord with multiple people, and we can always try and help solve your problems. AC, hello, welcome back. Tried to keep the house in order whilst you were gone. Discord, or there's an email address on the YouTube channel. Okay, let's press a button. Let's put myself in the little box, and we get on with it. So, quick stand up. Let's go through the backlog. Do some prioritizing. We'll assign some t-shirt sizes. Your stand-up updates in the chat. Finish level loading. Done. It looks like crap, but it's done. Text rendering. Looks like crap, but it's done. Done here means I don't want to work on it for a while, not necessarily feature complete. Julian, hello. Menus. I want to do menus today, which doesn't sound interesting, but I think it will be interesting purely because it means probably some more coroutine shenanigans. So let's make run. Let's remind ourselves what we got, where we're going, what we're doing. And we'll see where we're at. Yeah, it's real software engineering now. I've got a board and everything. Different to AC's board. Okay, so this is what we got. It looks pretty naff, but it's definitely better than it was. We got some font rendering. We've got some object rendering. We've got allegedly some normal mapping, although I think that is balked. It doesn't look great. Definitely got some texturing. I like the harsh bevels on the corner of these columns. Not my model. That's great. Basically done. What I want today is when I press caps lock, but because I've swapped escape and caps lock, but for most normal people, when they press escape, I want it to pause the game, and then when we hit escape, I want it to resume the game. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to exit from that. That's a problem for later. It's better than the purple. No, I don't do anything on Android. Matthias, hello. Yeah, it's not. It's cooler today than it has been, so I'm not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay. It's fine. Quacko's here to keep us all in check. So let's get some code up. Let's go game. Not even that one. Probably this one. So where we're at is we shove, when the game runs, it creates some primitives, it shoves a whole load of stuff in this sort of thing we've called a cache, and then it creates some routines, which are coroutines basically. They are things that are scheduled and unscheduled by the scheduler, and then we run, and then the run is just an infinite loop that keeps running these routines, and the routines themselves are responsible for their own rescheduling, so it's kind of cooperative, I guess you would say. So for instance, if you look at the input routine, when this gets to the bottom, it's like, if I'm still running, then can you please schedule me on to the next frame? So if you wanted to run, if for some absolutely mad reason you wanted to run the input processing every other frame, you could change this to 2. Or you can do like a time as well. So for instance, if you wanted the physics, a physics system to run like every 16 milliseconds, you could schedule it to run blah, 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 blah. Done all this before. I want to kind of extend this a little bit today to have the concept of game state. So the main routine, I guess, is the level routine. At the end of this, like, this should have some concept of like, when you press the escape key, like something should transition to the pause state, and then this should detect that it's in the pause state and basically say, hey, I want, do not reschedule me until we're back into like the running state, if that makes sense. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think there's a few things to kind of figure out with this. Because the render state should keep running, right? The render routine should keep running. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. Yeah, kind of like yeah, there will be some concept of the game state, but I don't want it to be global. I want it to be sort of message passed. So something, when the escape key is pressed, it sort of says we are now transitioning to the game to pause state, and kind of everything is, I guess, kind of responsible for updating that. I'm trying to avoid the global. It's not really a graph. I guess you could probably think of it conceptually as one, but like I've not modeled it as such. Anyway, so I think what we need before we start is something like a game state. That seems like a perfectly reasonable place to start. Nope, don't need semicolon a namespace. And then let's go, class game state, and then this will be like running and paused. Okay, nailed it. Done. I think I might want to abstract out the root. Like I might want like an abstract base routine, which kind of handles the concept of the game state locally and the message passing of it, I think. The only time you would want to, so the question is, when would you use a regular enum over an enum class? It's very rare because this means it's scoped. So enum by itself dumps these names, symbols, whatever you want to call them, into the surrounding scope. So this means that anywhere outside of this, I could do like game running, okay, and that would be valid without the class. Which is generally considered a bad idea, because if you do it in the global scope, then you vomit them into the global scope, and then you have the same problem that C has, where you have to effectively manually namespace them by doing something like, I don't know, game underscore or something like that. Like, that's why a lot of C enums have their kind of like namespacing encoded into the actual enum value, because there's no other way of disambiguating. If you had two enums both defining a running, then they would clash. The only reason I've seen you might want to do it is if you had, for instance, not that, struct foo, and then enum, I don't know, state, yes, no, then this would allow you to do foo, yes, rather than foo state yes. So it's kind of whether you want this, because remember, this will put it into the surrounding scope. That is the only time I've ever seen someone want to do that. I would say out of habit, 99% of the time, you should just do enum class and not worry about it. Especially as you can use using enum now to kind of bring it into the local scope if you need. The title of the stream is undefined behavior. As in, like, I've misnamed it, or you think int main is UB, because int main is the only function that is allowed to not specify a return value, and it is assumed to be return 0. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Antonio. Do clarify that point. How do I execute Windows executables inside of WSL? Magic? Something WSL. If you launch a PE file, right? So I have my, not that, file build source debug game.exe. If you just execute this, something WSL, it actually launches it on your host machine for you and makes it all work. Like it's just kind of magic. So yeah. There's no infinite loop in like int main to game, but yes, right. Infinite loop with no termination is UB, and I cannot remember if they changed that. That was proposed for C++26, but I don't know if they made it into it. It's more of just like that's one of those papers which is just standardizing what most compilers already do, or at least defining what most compilers already do. Kind of. Okay. Well, so far we're 15 minutes in, and I've written one enum. I think I want something like, let's take the input routine. I think I want a base routine which automatically registers the bus for you. Okay, stores the message bus, and then adds a virtual, but not pure virtual, like handle transition state for you. I think, and then that way all the routines are going to want to respond to that. So any routine where the state changes, they have the ability to do it. I think that kind of makes sense. My favorite infinite loop is definitely for semicolon. Harand, hello. Okay, let's do the message bus stuff first. Because I think that'll influence what we end up doing. So let's do source messaging. Message bus, I think like state change. And then from here we want to include game state. And then we will have, so you can subscribe to the state change, and then we'll have, I might as well keep this in the kind of order I've been adding them. Auto post state change. So anything can suddenly say, right, the game state is changing. Yeah. I think it's in the standard that says it doesn't have to. It is assumed. It is implied to return 0 unless you specify otherwise. WSL is quite old now. That was a proper Windows subsystem for Linux, as in it was a Linux operating system running with some special kernel module that translated the syscalls from Linux to Windows, which was quite clever, but it was a little bit slow. So WS2, I think, is just a VM under the hood. I think it's just like I think it's just quite a highly optimized hypervisor. So you're just running a Linux image. So there's quite a big difference. But WSL is basically dead. WSL2 is what you want. So why not use a variant with some extra data? So my philosophy is only write what I need when I need it, and at the moment I only need enum. I'll just aggressively refactor it if we need more state. It's a good question. Just keeping it simple. Let's go to massage bus. No, wait a minute, that's something different. Message bus. What was the horror I concocted here? I think it's this, and I always copy and paste this, and then I always get it wrong, and then I wonder why nothing works. State change, and then this will take the state, and then this will do handle state change, and then this is just some boilerplate. And then I need to go to subscriber, and then down here we do, oh, hang on, did I do like to keep the things in the order that I do like to define them in the order I declare them. That's right. Okay, subscriber, and then 46, take that there, handle state change, game state, unhandled message, hash include game state. Right, I think we're on to a winner. Don't need that anymore. Okay, I think we need that. Already regret saying it. Okay, so we now have some infrastructure for posting and handling the state change message. So what I think I want now is I changed my mind. It is really hot in here. VS source game routines. I want like a base routine. .h. Not even that. Not even that. Pragma wants this. Name space game. Okay, and then class routine. Have some publics. Have some privates. We'll have a virtual destructor, as we are good citizens. And then I want a root constructor which takes the message bus. So we're going to want to include messaging message bus. This is message bus by reference, which I'm not super keen on, but here we are. And then message bus. And then oh yes, thank you. Routine. I don't know where I got root from. Right, okay. So now we got base routine. I think this is going to want to store its current understanding of the game state. So I think this is going to want a game state. Okay. Game state. Could be. It could be the bus route. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna want some, and then this is going to implement messaging subscriber. This is going to be a public subscriber. Not there, it's not. Not there, it's not. Not there, it's not. Indeed. The range bus. Okay, and then we can do auto handle state change, game state override. In fact, actually, this should be, that's not gonna work for us. That should be protected. Okay. We got there in the end. It's probably like slots and signals, which is quite a QT thing. It's probably just some sort of like pub sub or message bus kind of thing under the hood. Okay, so now this allows us, so we'll have a single implementation of this. In fact, actually, I will make this, no, so you can I still mark this as virtual? Because it's not final. Yeah, okay. So we'll provide a base implementation, which just updates the state object, but if other routines need to provide further specialization, they can also provide an override for that. I think this is kind of a lot of the common functionality I want done. I think. And then the destructor needs to be virtual because if you use polymorphism, right? So I pass everything around as the routine base class, okay, or point or reference to, and I would delete it via the routine. So I would basically call routine star like delete, or through some mechanism cause it to be called delete. If this is not virtual, it will only call routines destructor and not call its inherited classes destructor. So you could potentially leak resources. I think it might also cause, no, it shouldn't cause memory leak because it should track the size of the object, but you basically end up in a situation where all your inherited classes are not properly destructed, which I guess is potentially UB, but in a more real sense, like they will not have the destructors called, so they will leak whatever they are managing. It's just a weird nuance of C++. It does mean also that because I've now declared a default destructor, I now don't get the compiler generated move constructor and move assignment operator, but I don't need it because I'm not going to be moving these things around. So they should probably be potentially disabled anyway. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. But good question. It's one of those. It's C++ nuance, shall we say? Okay, let's create some implementation of this. So let's go source game routine routine dot. It's just some routine C++. Game routine routine.h And then I'll have one of you, and then I'll have one of you. So in here, yeah, I want probably gonna want these three. Maybe not the. Yeah, why not treat ourselves? So this is going to do bus, and then it's going to do state. I'm just going to assume, wait for this to be a bug, that it always starts running. And then from here, we want to do subscriber, no, bus dot subscribe. Game state running, and I typed pause. No, just wait a minute. What am I doing? Message type. State change this. So this will automatically cause all of the deriving classes to be subscribed to this message, which means it's one less bit of misery we have to worry about. Routine. Don't need the override in the implementation. And then this just does state equals state. Don't need that. Okay, cool. Nailed it. Absolutely crushed it. I think there might be like a loading state eventually, which will be kind of implicitly the first one, or maybe like none, and then something kicks off the loading. But for now, let's keep it simple. We'll be a two-state system. Okay, source game routines cmake MNOPQR routine.cpp. Let's just check that blends. I think make game just builds it and make run runs it. Venom, I'm glad my my droning tones is enough to soothe you to sleep. I don't know what that says about the content, but I'm glad you've found some value in it. Okay, while that's getting kicked off, let's have a look at the input routine. So this will now fundamentally change. So we're going to go game routine. I must disable that. Like double shift to double control this. I thought it would be really useful for streaming, and I never use it except when I accidentally mash it. Face. Yes, because it's not called stage, it's called state. Do I need unsubscribe? Yes. Yes. Well, didn't we have this problem before? Yes. I think. Or did we... Wait a minute. We had this problem before and I fixed it. Didn't I have like an auto subscriber object? Auto subscribe. Good spot. Let's incorporate that. I forgot we did that. So this can be private, public protected. This can be private. There's no need for the derived classes to even know that this is happening. No, because they might need to use it to here is an issue because this just takes a set of messages to I think the solution here is to hoist all of that logic up into, make the routine responsible for all of this. Got the message bus. So in this constructor, this can take is the set message message types. And then in the routine CPP, this thing goes, yes. Now we're getting somewhere. Organic today. The set message type. I can then enrich this by doing types dot in place. Message type state change. And then, no, I can't because it needs to be in the initializer list. Oh, God, I hate programming. Just when you think you've got it good. It's right. Nothing you can't fix with an anonymous function. Oh, function in an anonymous namespace. Still auto release, auto subscribe. What did I call it in the other ones? Did I call it sub or did I call it subscribe? I called it neither. Called it absolutely neither. Okay. So let's do. Whoa. I'm kind of okay with lots of boilerplate if it means the interfaces are simple. I would much rather prefer simple interfaces that bury complexity. So this is kind of okay with me. So let's do it's gonna be a little gross, but it's okay. I'll take a message type. Take a game message type. Right? Types. And then I'm going to do types dot in place. In place. Game message type. This will make sense in a minute. State change. Again, it's a set, so it doesn't matter if someone's for some mad reason already decided to subscribe to that. It'll just figure itself out. Take the types, and then we're gonna do auto sub, which will take the bus. It will then take enrich types, stood move types, and then the subscriber, which I think is then this. No, which is then this. This. I think that's all we need. It is a new PC, but I don't know what you mean by resets. Okay, routine. Why is that not liking this? Why is that out of line? I take a bus by value, by reference, and I take the set of message types by value. I also probably need to just subscriber. And you don't have to initialize it, I just prefer to. Game message type. Oh yes, it does. Thank you. There you go. Okay, so this should, in theory, although you don't get RVO, I'm hoping you'll get NRVO, right? So named return value optimization. So this takes ownership of this, which is a move, which is cheap. It does one operation on it and then returns it. This then becomes a PR value, which then will initialize this in here, which means it then won't do another copy or move. So I think that's kind of, it's one of those weird things where actually passing by value, if you line up all the moves, is actually sometimes more performant. Yeah, it could just be Clang D. I just want to just check on, let's just try this. Looking good, we're linking, so it must work. Let's update my temporal tooling, bring this back. It might have just been compile commands JSON was out of date. Okay, so now I think we're kind of ready to start integrating this. So let's do the first one first. If you want a fun, typical Jason, hate that guy. Right, a fun tip is if you do, I'll tell you what the tip is in a minute when I get my ducks in a row. Right, if you declare a overridden destructor as default, right, then this will give you a compiler error if you forget to declare the base as virtual. So going back to what we were saying earlier, which will be a short in about 12 months' time, you can kind of guarantee that you've done it if you remember to do this. So if I dropped this virtual here, it'd be like, I've got nothing to override. So it's kind of good habit to do this. Again, the problem is now is that this will prevent the compiler auto creating a move constructor and move assignment operator. However, I don't want them anyway. So, or I don't know which way you look at it. We're quids in. I don't think I need to do anything else here other than I guess I need to throw this bus away. And then into the input routine, we now just need to initialize this with routine bus and an empty thing. That should be all we need. Indeed, if it works, it works. Ship it. It's not an air traffic control system. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, right. So now this actually this won't actually change because I can't see any situation where we wouldn't want to be accepting and handling input. So this is largely the same. What we might do in the future is, because all of these have this concept of running, we might be able to just change all that. It's like if the game state is now stopped, then they all quit. I don't want to change too much in one go, but that is an option for us. The one I do care about, I guess, is the level routine. So game. I forgot to check, is the font size alright? Because this is, I think this is just the default one, and on the, I've not changed it since spinning up the new machine, so do let me know if it's like teeny weeny eye strain vision. Of course, like, I appreciate there'll be like one person who says it's too small and everyone says it's fine, so I'll probably go with the majority, but well, the whole point is that the level shouldn't be doing anything if the game is paused. If all the game logic is in here, then it should just, as soon as it detects that state change, it should schedule itself to not do anything until the next, until it's what am I trying to say? Until it goes back to the playing state. How's that? Yeah, so it should just effectively stop updating the state, but the scene should remain the same, which means it should continue to render it. I think that's my plan. We'll see. We're just going to write some code, see what happens. So I can now sack off this. So this, I don't need this anymore. What I do need is a routine. And then I can sack off auto subscribe. I'll keep running, but again, I suspect that will change in the future. And then what else can I throw in the C and get rid of the message bus? Still take that, still take that, still take that, still take that. I think I now want to. No, actually, I think that's good. Let's see how this works. Okay. Routine, and then down, don't care. This should then do routine bus, then the set of message type. I'm just copying what I can see is the messages that I already care about. So quit. Okay, get rid of the bus, get rid of the auto sub. So that should continue to work. Oh, what? Did I get rid of the wrong thing there? Oh, of course, it's not called bus underscore yet. It's called just the bus. Okay. So we're going okay font size at the moment. Maybe one more if people are struggling. Again, I don't know. I should probably look at the analytics more. I don't look. Let me start again. I spend a lot of time looking at the analytics of videos. I do not spend a lot of time looking at the analytics of shorts or live streams. So I have no idea what percentage of people watch on what device. If you're watching this on a mobile and it's like, maybe we can boost it a bit. We'll see. Okay. So I think what I want is when this next comes back around on the next frame, right? I think what I want is if state doesn't equal game state running, then co-await, wait, scheduler, game state running. So this won't work because I've not implemented it yet. I've not implemented this yet, but I think this is the API that I want, right? So whilst I'm not in the running state, like don't schedule me. Just like let me sit here until I'm running again. So when you transition to the pause state, this will stop updating. That's kind of my vision for this. And then we could, well, I know you say unnecessary loading screens, but we could have like an initial menu screen. So we could have like the menu routine and the level routine already going, starting the menu state when we have one. This will immediately suspend itself and say, I'm not ready to transition to the game. And then you can move around between them. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along. I just like coroutines. Right, let's... Exactly. So the renderer will continue running because that will just continue scheduling itself per frame. And because I think they share the scene object between them, we can maybe like say, I don't know. So spoiler alert, maybe when the game is paused, it adds like a blur post process. Don't know. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just see if we can get this doing a thing and such. What does the transition? I haven't just... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the UI elements might just clear between each different scene or whatever. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm going. What I haven't decided yet is who is responsible for sending that message. I suspect the level routine should post the pause message because the level's running and only it can effectively transition to the next scene. So this will probably need a keyboard handler. When it sees the escape key, it will post that message. It will call all the message handlers, update the state. Then when this comes back around again, it'll be like, oh, my state has changed. Boom. Descheduled. Unscheduled. Waiting to be rescheduled. Let's have a look at our wait object. So, I sure did template this. Okay. So this should work. Because it's only the special case for the task, I should be able to... Wait, so why is it complaining? Oh, because I don't have the reschedule yet. Correct. So this is fine. Beauty of templates. This all just works. Get rid of all this. I'm always surprised when my code works. This is the main case. This is just if const extra specialized for tasks because there's a little bit of extra bookkeeping, which we're not actually using yet. So what are you gonna do? Okay, so this we'll call reschedule. So let's go to the scheduler and add a new reschedule. Man, got loads of stuff in here I don't need. Nope, it's not standardized yet. That shouldn't be source either. That's a mistake. A few drive-by changes today. Scheduler. Nope. I was right. Game state. So what I think you want to do, yeah, you want to say, schedule me on a transition to a new state. If you need to wait for multiple states, then that's a little bit more complex. We don't need it yet. So again, what am I trying to say? Most of the groundwork most of the implementations for rescheduling involve us sort of capturing the current state and then accounting for when it changes. So like we keep track of the current tick count and the current elapsed time. And then when you say, hey, reschedule me for 300 nanoseconds time, it can then check the elapsed time, blah, blah, blah. So this needs a state there, and then this will have, copy that, reschedule game state. And I think all this is like lambda up the wazoo, if I remember correctly. Ah, yeah. C plus 23, move only function. Let's go to the main scheduler, and then we'll stick this here. And then what we can do is we'll have one of these, one of this, one of that. Actually, I'm not going to copy that. I will re-implement it from I will type it out myself just so I can remember how it works. Okay. So we've actually, that's like, this is the same, so I'll take this. So we find the task in the queue that is the current parent. Oh no, it is the current task. And then that's it, sorry. We can only await if it is already in the scheduler. So that means that task must exist somewhere. So once we found that task, we then change its check resume function, right, which is a callback, to state this. Nope. I mean, state this. Return state equals state. Yeah, that's what we want. Nice. Yes, they should, but they're not. Because they need access to like the privates and stuff, I guess I could pass them through, but for now, I'm not that fussed. So this now should work, right? Because it will go through when it iterates through all the tasks. Oh, how does it update? Oh, that's something I hadn't considered. How does the scheduler know when the game state has changed? Because time and tick count and time are separate to the rest of the game. I think the scheduler will have to become a subscriber and subscribe to it. It does kind of couple the scheduler to the game a little bit more, but I think at this point, like, and yeah, I don't really want to be responsible for poking it in. I feel like it should just listen to the message bus and just pull that message off. I think this is the correct, the least incorrect way of doing it. So this is going to need it's going to need all this stuff. Scheduler, subscriber, hash include, messaging, message bus, and then hash include, messaging, auto subscribe. So scheduler is also a subscriber. Which means it should, for completeness, have the scheduler. Nope, doesn't have to be virtual. Sorry, it already is virtual. Equals default, and then I want to have a private. Is it private? No, it can't be. It has to be. Don't really like them being public. I guess there's not a lot I can do about that. Auto handle. Was it handle state change? Yeah. Handle state change. Game state void override, and then this will need a somewhere down here. Let's stick it first. Auto subscribe, auto sub. Let's cause a race condition where the scheduler state is updated after the others and not update them on change. I don't. It will, but what we can do, that's a good point. So the concern is that because all the handlers are called at the point you send the message, that will effectively be during the update loop, which might, I think it's unlikely because the thing that will co-wait on it will not get called until its next iteration, which necessitates the whole scheduler going out. Yeah, but I think what we'll do is we'll just cache it and then update it at the end of the loop to keep it consistent. So I think what we have is next state. Okay. I think it's a good point, and I certainly missed it. So let's go scheduler. And then what we'll do is we'll take this, slap this here, call this a scheduler thing, that, this and that, this, that, and the other. And then this will have a next state equals state. And then what we'll do is at the end of here, when we update all the other state, which is at the end of processing all the queue, we'll do state equals next state. Yeah, I think that's fine. It is kind of my expectation that subscribers are responsible for handling the messages in a way that makes sense. So if they need to internally queue up the messages and then process them, say, all at once, or they need to check for duplicates or whatever, it might be that when we get to audio, some point, if you post out like 2 play sound effects too quickly, the audio system, as an example, will maintain like an internal queue of those events and just like combine ones that are so too close together or something like that. So I think this is kind of in line with the paradigm I was trying to forge. Right. Okay. So that'll work. So now level routine also needs a, let's go to subscriber, needs a handle key press. It's been a while since I've looked at the events code. Key event. So that'll take that, and then level routine. Handle key press. Routine, routine. I know you don't have to name it here, but for consistency I will. I can just about see that. My big bald dome's not quite in the way. Right, now if event dot key equals key event new. What's the type? Great. It's just key. Okay, obviously. Escape. And event event dot state equals key state down, I guess. Like as soon as you hit it, you want to pause it. Bus dot post state change game state pause. So obviously I'm not going to wire up the unpausing it at the moment. I just want to kind of get this working. So that should work. Did I subscribe to that message? No, that was a bug waiting to happen. Key press. Actually quite nice that as an interface now, just shoving all the ones in there, and like the fact that I have to like subscribe to that and pass into this pointer is all kind of abstracted now. It's like, and I have to call this base constructor, so that's kind of nice. Right, okay. So then I go back to input routine, and now this changes because I don't want this to happen anymore. So in fact, a lot of this now goes out the window, which means we won't actually gonna be able to stop this from running. I have to think about that. But it's fine. Just don't worry about it. I think that's kind of enough to give it a go. We should be able to see. We can move around, mouse and keyboard input, and then we should hit It's going far too well. Oh, look at this. Exactly, yeah. There'll be some sort of quit keystroke button, whatever. I'm not that fussed about doing buttons at the moment. It might be that you press escape and then you have to press Q afterwards or something like that. Scheduler. Ooh, have I actually uncovered a bug? Oh, look at that. I'd forgotten to mark this as virtual. So what a great story that was. That'll run. It's almost like I planned it. The whole what an odyssey we've been on. Oh, god damn it. Oh, I've actually probably got to wire all this into the scheduler. Yes. Okay, fine. Just missing some subscriber. And then auto sub, which takes a bus, which I don't have yet, so I need to pass that in. Then it'll take one of these, and then it'll be like message type key press. Back over to the scheduler. Scheduler. This will take a message bus. This will need to take a message bus. And then bus. I probably don't even need to store it locally, but I will just in case. Message bus. What does this look like when it's at home? Do I have to pass in this? I do. Which means I now have to add to game. Indeed. Great point by Connor. Subscriber, like you should to the channel. Yes. Glad someone's paying attention. State change. And then game, and then this now will just need to be taking the bus. Okay. How does the renderer takes the level routine to get the scene? Interesting. I'm not sure if that's going to work for us going forward if we want to enable, like, we might need to hoist the scene out here and then just dependency inject that into the routines that care about it. So there's like a global scene and that they can each influence it. I think we had this discussion before and I was like, I'm not going to need that. And now I do. You mean I don't have your full and undivided attention? Outrageous. I assume Haranda's off playing something as well because he's been surprisingly quiet today. Okay. There he is. Right, so let's do this. And then if I press escape, I can't now quit either. Okay, what happened? Have I... No, it should pause it, right? Yeah, we just need to... Yeah, we'll have to figure out where this is going. So I guess the main thing... So does... Slappy, hello? So let's see. Do we get here? Key press in level routine. Event. Could just put debug on it and find out where it's going. Menus are hard. Okay, so let's just drag this down here. So, okay, I'm definitely getting key presses. So I'm just mashing like keys. So I'm gonna press escape. Definitely getting escape. Okay, right. That's. Yes, I haven't wired in the functionality for the X button on the window yet, so that just closes the window, but the game keeps running. Okay, so that's there. So post state change paused. So this must be not this. I know what I do. I know what I do need to do, which will waste some time. Auto to string game state string view. Switch state using enum game state case running return. Gonna reflect this out so hard soon. Is the level team still responding to the key presses when pause? Oh, interesting. Yes, it is. It is, yeah. Let's fix that now. I think Quirko should be up here talking rather than me. Okay, let's prevent that. Okay, that's good. I'd rather do this on a per subscriber basis rather than try and fold this into the functionality of the message bus, because that sounds like a nightmare, because I just don't think it's going to have to happen that often. I mean, as long as you don't just leave an empty chair there while you go and have an argument with what I take to be your mother for like 20-30 minutes, you're doing better than some. That was a stretch. Okay, so that I want to do nope, not standardized yet. Log debug will wait. So is this, it basically is all this getting I'll probably need to include the format of that, won't I? No? Question mark? Something electronic in my office has that annoying, like, high-pitched whine. Other than me talking, I don't really know what it is. Fine. Oh, isn't it because it doesn't like it when it's a string view? Didn't we have this problem before? Because I don't think I care. Just string churn away. Which is a fun phrase I picked up from Harand. Now we play for time. Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, so it's interesting. It's... How bizarre. The level doesn't control all the player movement. That would be the... Oh no, does it? I feel like it's... Is this exactly the issue you just described? Yeah, I went through a real roller coaster of emotions there. Where the hell is the player updated? It's here we go. Oh, this complicates things. I wonder if the player should be a routine as well as the level, and we just duplicate the same logic there. Because at the moment, what's interesting here is that I've probably made a bit of a mess of this. Level calls update with the player object, but that's just updating various parts of it. I think the issue is that, so who owns the player? That's the, we had this discussion before, and I think I ignored what everyone said, and I was like, no, I'll just do it the way I want to do it. Yes, the interesting. Okay, so here's what's happening. The level owns the player, which I don't think is necessarily a bad decision. This suspends itself and means it doesn't call player update. However, player itself still listens to the messages, which means it is still being updated under the hood because the player has no concept of game state, and I don't think I want it to. There's two ways forward on this. 3 ways. One is we just give up and go do something else, but let's assume there's 2 ways forward on this. One is player gets lifted into its own coroutine like scheduler thing, so it can then do what this does and basically pause itself whilst the game is not running. Or the level subsumes all the responsibility of events, basically buffers them all up internally when it receives them, and then plays them back to the player on its update loop. So basically player no longer subscribes to the message bus. It instead has it effectively still has these methods, right? Handle, key press, handle, mouse move, but they don't come from the message bus. They come from the level routine. Now, I don't know which one is better. Part of me thinks player should be its own separate thing. But on the other hand, you are right. It means the level could do interesting things. Like if it had to, it would. Yeah, but then it could just take a reference to the player anyway and do stuff. I'm just wondering whether. Oh, hang on, no, because player, yeah, it needs a bunch of stuff about the camera, which it gets from the window. So I think player should live in this. So what we'll do is we will have another quick refactor in and out, 20 minutes. There's literally no reason I can't just keep the same. Mario, resubscribed, 6 months. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Glad you're here. There's no reason these can't still stay the same, right? And this would be just like these are sent from the level routine instead of the message bus. Okay. Which means we can get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of that, this, that, and the other. Simplifies that. I know, right? Next project, I am going to drop this hill that I've decided to die on, where I will only write code live, and I will probably do little bits off stream because it will be a slightly bigger project, and that probably will involve documenting more stuff as we go along. What I probably should have done is just taken the last like 15 minutes of each stream to do documentation. I've not. That's my problem. Maybe I should try and be a little bit going forward. Anyway, that being said, back to the level routine. This now needs to this will need a... Wow, quite a big refactor today. So that will take that, and what this will do is, I guess that will just, there's no need to buffer it up, right? That will just... Jinduru, glad you're here. I think what this doesn't need to buffer up, it'll just forward them on as it gets them, right? And then if it's not running, then it'll just pass on it. Yeah. I like it. Okay. Not here. Not here. Yes. Sorry, I got it. I think we've all arrived at the same conclusion. Just me a little bit later than everyone else. The E handle, it's the environmentally friendly one. And then this is exactly very similar. And then if game is running, then player dot handle mouse move event. And I guess I should also forward the handle key press to the event as well. And also player dot do I have a... I will need to... I'll handle the restart one at some point. Note to self, that is not going to work. But for now, so player is free from having to care about the bus. And now this also needs message type. Oh my. Fans are going absolutely ham on the PC, which is good. That's why it's so hot in here. I'm apparently using up 100% of my CPU. Sorry, my GPU, sorry. 10% of the CPU. Where was I at? Here. Mouse move. Okay, I think we're getting there. Oh, it's because the game was running in the background. Yeah, the fans have just gone off and it's dropped down to 30% GPU usage. Yeah, we need the restart event, but I just wanted to see if I can get this running first. God damn it. Player. Oh yeah, don't need this. And I don't need that. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need any of this. Cool. Okay. I will have a look in a second. I don't, because I don't background them and they will get run from this tmux panel. Window, what you want to call it. I don't think there's any sort of silent ones running in the background, but we'll see. Okay, so here you go, and then we press escape. Okay, not bad. Can't resume it, but not bad. So what I should be able to do is routine. handle key press. If it's running, what I should be able to do is like if state equals game state running, then post that it should be game state paused, else game state, because I want to check if this resumes properly running. So this will always respond to escape down, but it'll effectively toggle the game state. There's lots of stuff we could do with the text rendering, but for now it's okay. And then actually, if we just keep it all within the level system which has access to the scene, we can just flip a bit saying, oh, now do a blur. Okay, so let's go along, and then we're going to lock it. This now doesn't do anything, and then we press it again. Oh, I guess nailed it. There you go. Pause. Game paused. I'm actually quite pleased with that. That actually, I think, architecturally, of course I can't actually quit out of it, is pretty sweet. So I think then actually, else if the logic is a little gross, but like I think just state management often is, if it's paused, and then event.key equals key q, then bus dot post quit. This won't work because the input system doesn't handle this. Do I want to drive all this through the game state? I think I do. Did I spell exiting? No, one T, exiting. So now, also the I believe the rendering routine doesn't inherit from the base one, so we need to fix that as well. It could internally listen, say, oh, when it's paused, automatically apply the post-processing effect. I don't know if that's better, more coupled or less. I don't know if that's better or worse, but we'll sort that out in a minute. So let's go. Let's finish all this. So input routine. So basically, while state doesn't equal game state exiting, okay. Game state exiting. If it gets the stop event, which I don't think you can currently sends that would be what the X produces, but that's fine. We could do bus dot post state change game state exiting, or just break out at that point. Nope, because we're not in loop. Never mind. Then we don't need that anymore because we will just always do that, and eventually this will be false, so it'll end the loop. The key, one of the key designs of the scheduler is that once all the routines have ended, it itself ends. That's why there's no kind of much less state management in there. It just assumes that once all your routines, your coroutines are finished, then the game is no longer running. So its infinite loop ends at that point. So then we've got level routine, which basically does something similar. So this can get rid of all this running nonsense. And this can be say while state doesn't equal game state exiting. And actually this is quite nice because if you wanted to do some logic once the exit signal was sent, you can just do that on the message handler, and then you wouldn't have to sort of dirty up your main loop too much. So that's fine. I'm actually quite pleased with this. I think this is nice. Ah, hang on. No, it won't. It won't ever get here because if it hits exiting, then it will just exit. It will just actually co-return. And then source game. How many routines we got? Is it just the render routine left? So let's do this. So let's tidy this up. Oh, it's going to be such a manic commit. All this at the end. Give it all this. Give it all this. Give it all this. Routine. Game. Routine. Routine. It's going to pass the bus in. It no longer needs to bus. It no longer needs running. It no longer needs auto subscribe. This is going to be great. Render routine. Routine. Bus. Message type. Doesn't even need to quit one anymore. In fact, actually quit, it almost goes, I'll leave it in, but it almost goes away as a message type, right? Because you can just infer that from its now exiting. So this goes away, and then state doesn't equal game state exiting. Render routine. Nice. Okay. I might save doing the post-processing effects to next stream because I do kind of want to do a little bit of tidy up at the end of this one. I know it's not particularly fun, but a lot of the files are in like miserable places, and I think it might be worth just tidying it up just a little bit. I mean, I spend on a high as well. Okay, so now we're along, and then we go paused, not paused. Paused, not paused. Paused, quit. Too good to be true. Too good to be true. What's going on there then? Level routine. The state is paused. And post the quit. Oh, it's not post quit, is it? It's not post quit. It is post state change. Game state. That'll work. Twitch and YouTube numbers getting close again. I think just need more on both really. That ringing noise is really doing my head in. I'll slowly turn each electrical thing off until I find out what it is. I think it might be my monitor, my second monitor. Got that sort of high-pitched monitor scream about it. Okay, that did. Let's crash it. That is. Okay. What's going on here then? So post the state to exiting. Yeah, I know, right? It posts the state. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why is this? I'm worried that I've still got some of this running nonsense in here. So let's get rid of this, Okay, it's not that. We know it's paused. Oh, now that this ternary is not going to work now that we've got two states either. I wonder if there's like an infinite loop going on there. Let me just fix this. If state is running, then paused. It shouldn't actually matter, actually. He says. Let's just do it. Let's just do it the proper way. If state equals game state running, and bus dot post state change game state paused. Else if state equals game state paused. Bus post state change game state running. Yeah, let's just remove that small race condition. That will definitely hit. I need to probably put some logging in the states as well in the routines, just so I kind of know when they're exiting and if they're exiting. So I'll do that as well. Yeah, it's fundamentally unhappy about that. So let's just go level routine. Let's do log info routine ending. I shouldn't need to put the name in it because it should come out in the log. Input routine ending. I wonder if one of these is just not leg. Oh, hang on. This isn't subscribing to the state change. Oh no, it does that internally, doesn't it? State doesn't equal game state running. Resolves to game state running. I'd have to double check that. Maybe I got it wrong. Oh yes, you're right. I want it to be while it is running. Yes. Good spot. Oh no, why it doesn't equal exiting? That's right, isn't it? Have I done it wrong somewhere else? No, I think that's right. Let me just give this a chance. I did see that only one of the states had exited though, which was one of the routines had exited though, which was interesting. All right, Q and Q. So interesting. 2 of the routines have ended, but I suspect the level routine is somehow propping this corpse up. While state doesn't equal exiting. Why is it not getting there? Oh. But here's a fun one. It's suspended because it's not running. I think I need to hard code it so that all routines, all coroutines that are suspended on a state change always get woken up if it's exiting regardless. Right. Or state equals game state exiting. That'll work. Otherwise, yeah, it just literally it's just spinning an infinite loop doing nothing. Right. Paused and quit. Chats, we've done it. We've done it. We are back to exactly where we were at the start of the stream. Right, I'm going to comment that up and then see where we are for time, because I am hot, and I don't want to start doing graphic stuff today. I think we'll save that for Sunday, and we'll just go ham on doing like some nice visuals for it. It is much cleaner now. I must admit, I wasn't 100% convinced it would work. In my mind, it was going to work, but then I said that about a lot of things. But I think this is really nice. Yeah, let's just comment this up. Let's commit this up, and then we might go through and just tidy up some of the code. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I think that architecture is quite nice. Yeah, so I mean, so you have to remember that coroutines and threads are orthogonal concepts, right? This is all single-threaded, and coroutines work on that. It's just a way of scheduling. It's just a way of pausing and resuming functions. You can sort of blend it with multi-threading, and in fact, if you get it right, you get a really nice situation where you just sort of suspend, and then you suspend it on one thread, and then the next thread that is available to pick it up picks it, and things like nicely migrate between threads, and you can do sort of scatter and gather and all that sort of stuff. That's what I'd like to do for the next project, maybe. But yeah, this would be maybe, I don't know if it'd be any more complicated. There's just race conditions that you would have to be aware of, like this line here, this bit of logic here, right, is ambivalent to how many threads you're running on, right? It's basically saying this function should not be resumed until the game state changes. It doesn't matter how many threads you've got, it doesn't matter what thread it's run on, like just suspend it. So in that sense, it is no more complicated. However, the internal machinery of it all will be more complicated. Yeah, so you kind of blend the two of them, right? You basically have a thread pool of workers where you have like n threads, and then you just distribute your code. So if you just think of a coroutine as a suspended function, you just kind of throw that into a job queue, and then the threads pick those off when they can do work, and then they resume them on that. It's called like a MN job system sometimes. So, but it would complicate things. But I think basically what you would end up doing is basically having one of these schedulers per thread, almost, and then you just just schedule it across all the threads, or something similar to this, right? Like this idea that you have a queue of tasks, whether each thread owns its own queue, or whether there's a central queue and it farms them out, whether it has like work stealing. There's a whole class of problems to solve, but fundamentally it still would have it would still boil down to each thread basically running this loop. Like, whilst there are jobs to do, find a job, resume it. So yeah, okay. So add game state enum. Yeah, I mean, around I can hear his eye twitching at the idea of multi-threading an OpenGL application with Lua. Okay, so what makes sense logically? So I think like having the message. So let's do like message bus handles game state changes. The scheduler. So let's do the schedule coroutines on game state change. I think this is basically like add base routine class. Sure. Imagine this is probably part of this. Fix that up. Nope, that was wrong. I want to reset there. I want to add that and amend that commit. I have systems to do my rebasing for me now. This is just a whole bunch of misery, and whilst I like small atomic commits, I think I don't. No, actually, no, that's a lie. These can be separated out. So move input. No, let's do refactor input routine to use routine base. Commit. I could probably split this out a little bit further, but what are you gonna do? To use routine base. What is the total commit count? Let me have a quick look. Not including the ones I'm making now, I am up to 443 commits. I tag them per stream, but I try and commit, I would argue, correctly. Refactor render routine to use routine base class. Indeed. So let's control player input via level routine. This is sort of like tidy up. 10 minutes. What can we do in 10 minutes ish? Let's have a look at source. So there's a bunch of stuff here that I think just needs to be moved around. So I'm just going to move a few files around and fix them up. And I think that's kind of a good enough place for us to be. So like, auto really should be in utils, right? So let's git move source or auto. Why are you to source? Git move. Why is my tab not working? Control F works, but I thought I could still tab complete in Fish. Make game. It's going to break a bunch of stuff. We're going to fix that up. I can't remember what the magical like Vim heartbreak is to try and fix all this. Yeah, I think it's something like SG. Then I do like hash include auto release, and then I think it's Control Q, and then is it like cdo, and then I want to send S dollar auto release with dollar utils slash auto release dollar G. Yeah, it's fine. And then we just save all. I don't know what happened there, but my CPU fan really span really hard then. You can see when it this is when I ran that find and replace, and I think the second one was when I saved it. It's true. What's going on? Not a lot is. There we go. Boom, SVC. Working hard. It's fine. It's fine. I probably should just run that, check it still works. It's true, yeah. I want a CPU that's been hand optimized for NeoVim. Okay, pause and quit. Yeah, nailed it. Just a few file changes. What's come here? Move auto release.h. Okay, what's next? Want to roll? Error also should probably be. I'm gonna do one at a time because when I try to do multiple ones, it's an absolute mess. Nice. Let's do git move source error to source utils fg, and then it's line 38, mate. Can't do anything about it. What? Why is 38 stuck in the gutter? Anyway. Okay, so let's get out of this because I don't want this yet. Grep search for hash include error.h, control Q, cdo, percent %s dollar error.h dollar utils error.h $g, cd replace error.h with utils error.h. Let's go. I am using every core I have available. This will be quite large. Well, yeah, pretty much everything, right? Just playing for time. Making sure I get all those last few ads in. Maybe I should create a mass distributed system where I can use all the watchers, everyone in chats, a few cycles of their CPU to compile the game. This is true. Yes. I don't know how Twitch works. I mean that's just a flat truth. I don't know how Twitch works, but I don't know if I get like a percentage of the subs for the length of time you watch, or if it's just like once you're subscribed, I kind of get a cut of it. Yes, exactly. Those releases that I've been given for people to try are just slowly turning everyone into a botnet. And rather than mining Bitcoin, I just use it for compiling C++. I just use it for enclang D. Okay, cool. Discord has just notified me that I'm live, so I'm glad it's keeping up. Right. Commit move error.h. I was going to get to throw exceptions in a tight loop. Just try catch, try catch, try catch, try catch. Okay, I think we got time for one more. Let's play this game once more, and then I must get out of this really warm room. Let's do. I'm not going to do exception because it's two files. Oh no, it shouldn't make a difference. Let's do that. Okay. Oh no, because then we'll have to update the C++ file, the make file. Let's do formatter. Git move source formatter to source utils. FG. Nope. SG hash include formatter. That's not that many of them. Can you cdo %s dollar formatter .h dollar utils formatter .h dollar g. cd. Oh no! Ooh! Steady. Yep, got it. Utils. Let's calm down now. It flashed up briefly something about not being able to save a file. Which? File exists. It's this one, isn't it? One I've already got open. It's already updated those, so let's do that. Just keeping everyone on their toes. You get an MSVC build job, and you get an MSVC build job. Everyone gets an MSVC build job. I've also decided to install MSVC Wine in opt on this build, not in temp, which means every now and then when I rebooted the WSL instance, it would disappear. Like a real engineer. Stick all my tools in temp. That way I know which ones I really need. God, it's hot in this right now. Right, boop, boop, unpause, pause, unpause, pause, quit. Exit code 0. Quit, move, format.h, q, sg, cmake. Ooh, what's going on here? Double digits. Also, where's my line number gutter gone? I think Vim needs a bit of a break. I think it's had enough. Pump version 4T. 70 streams we've been doing this for, people. 70 streams. WSL is amazing. Like it is incredible. So I/O performance is bad in WSL if you move between the Linux and the Windows host. If you keep everything within like slash, or not like as within the Linux file system, it's pretty fast. It's if you go via /c, then it becomes a bit of a bottleneck. I'm a little bit worried about this. I literally cannot. It's not even a joke about being able to exit Vim. I literally cannot exit this. Let's just check that still builds. WSL2 row. Why is it suddenly? I got an empty Git tree, working tree, and yet I now have 116 translation units that need rebuilding. I think the technology of WSL1 is cooler. I just think it's WSL2 is just a better implementation for the user. Oh yes, I updated to CMake 4 as part of this, the latest and greatest, and it's introduced a whole new interesting world of warnings that I have so far chosen to ignore until they cause an issue, which could be any stream now. Okay, boop, 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 boop. Nice, okay. Should have a clean working tree, so let's click off the release job. I'll try and remember to upload that today. Let's press this button. I don't think we can quite tick off this yet because I want to have an initial like game menu as well as a like some sort of visual aspect that's paused, like a blur or something like that. So we'll probably spend at least another stream, maybe 2, just getting that tidied up, and then sound. And I literally have no idea what I'm going to do for that. I have no prior art at all. You're going to watch me fumble through that live. I feel your pain, Harand. The only reason I would have given up with this project so long ago if I wasn't live streaming it. And I'm not saying it's for everyone should live stream it, but for me, having to show up twice a week and make progress in front of people and talk through it Like, there's been streams where I'm like, I just don't want to work on this anymore. I've just shown up and we've had a laugh and we made some progress, and it kind of motivates me to keep going. But yeah, I think everyone has to find their own path. And like, also, like, hobbies should be fun. Like, hobbies should be fun. So if you're not having fun and like go program something that is fun. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone has to. It depends what your end goal is, right? If your end goal is to learn, then it doesn't matter. You know, you can stop when you're no longer learning or getting frustrated with it. If your goal is to make a game, then that does kind of stray outside of the pure fun bit, because it is hard. It's really what's up to you. I guess it depends what you're like deep down. Like, what is your end goal? But yeah, streaming game dev is tough. There are evenings when I go to bed grumpy because I've not been able to get something done, and it's frustrating me, and then I can't really make any more progress on it until like the next stream. But anyway, enough of my motivational speech, which basically amounts down to just do it. I'm gonna go because I am hot. Yes. New video probably now. I think I might release it now. I need to just double check a few things. And then I'll probably wait for an hour to watch the initial comments come through, including the meme ones. But you know, it doesn't matter. They're always funny. Indeed. There are no more free memberships to give out, so that is it. Okay, cool. Thanks very much for coming along. Sunday. Let's do some more. Let's write some graphic stuff. Let's write some shaders. We'll have fun. I'll catch you all later. Thanks very much.